Yeah, good morning, everybody. I show 0700. My name is Paul Carlos. I'm the Plant Section Chief Trainee for Incident Management Team 1. This is the operational briefing for the west zone of the Dixie incident for September 2nd, 2021. If I get everybody to turn your phones down, take any sidebar conversations out of the briefing area, I'd appreciate it. Starting with Night Ops Incident Update.
Good morning, Magnus, Incident Management Team 1, Night Operations. Branch 9 continues to be in good shape, and actually in Juliet and Kilo and Lima, they'll probably be pulling some hose. There is some interior stuff that's showing itself, but it's well interior, no issues. In the Branch 13, everything stayed pretty much in check for them in there. They've got a plan to work into that up around Raker Peak. Division Papa, it still stayed up on Prospect, not any problems in there. As we move over into the Lassen sector in Branch 16, they did have a big push yesterday near 146 out through the Crowns, and then it settled out, but they kept it close to the Westwood Hall Road through there. Sierra, they're working real hard in there against Silver Lake, keeping that in check, going direct on all of that. As you slide down through Tango, it was quiet. Westwood sector calls of service. As we come around to the Janesville branch, as everybody can see out there this morning, right there on the escarpment, it's trying to make a push out there towards the Hurlong Junction. It's up on the top end of Otis Canyon currently, and so that's where our focus is today in the report.
Management objectives have not changed for today, but our control objectives have. So keep the fire north of Highway 70, keep the fire south of Harvey Valley Road, keep the fire east of Ponderosa Way and within established control lines, and keep the fire west of the eastern Lassen County line while ensuring infrastructure defense in the communities of Janesville, Milford, and Hurlong. Weather.
Good morning, Derek Williams, Incident Meteorologist. So again, we'll have that west-southwest wind develop this afternoon, and wind speeds have been coming down the last couple of days. So today, I expect just a little bit lighter winds. Up in Branch 13 and Branch 16, winds will be primarily out of the west this afternoon. 10, maybe gusts to 15 miles an hour, so a fairly light typical wind up there. Closer to the Milford group and Junction group, we'll have that west-southwest wind develop again with gusts close to 25 on the plateau, and so pretty windy up there again today, but it's still coming down. We had gusts to 30 miles an hour in that area yesterday. So gradual reduction of winds the past few days. It will remain extremely dry, despite temperatures being 2 to 3 degrees cooler. The only thing that will do will, instead of a 7% RH this afternoon, it might be 10%. Not much improvement there. Still some active burning overnight, especially further south with the RH recoveries in the 20 to 30% range. So still some poor mid-slope recoveries during the nighttime hours. As we get into tonight, we do have somewhat of a change, and you might want to note this in the forecast IAP, that we do have a weak frontal boundary that will come in from the north late tonight and into tomorrow morning. What that will do is that'll switch winds around to the northeast late tonight, and then by morning you'll have an east-southeast winds across much of the fire area. 4 to 7 miles an hour is about all you're going to get. We've seen this before, but it really just, most of the times you don't even notice it. So it'll be on the ridge tops, and it won't be a significant wind event. So we get into tomorrow, that east-southeast wind will kind of battle the southwest winds that we have typical each day, and about the result of that will be terrain-driven winds tomorrow. Very light winds tomorrow. Especially in the afternoon hours. And as we get in the next few days, it's still dry, but we do have a chance of rain coming up early next week. Thanks. Have a safe shift.
Fire behavior.
Good morning, Don Watt with Fire Behavior, Incident Management Team 1. So the big thing we're looking at, it's looking really good up here. The winds are still going to be in your favor. As I was talking, you may see that shift, but it won't be strong. It won't really impact in that branch 13 area. Branch 16, you're still going to see that wind. We saw a little bit last night where the cold air comes down off the higher peaks and comes down to the valley. Once it gets to the valley, it really wants to settle out, and there's really no wind. So we'll see that push probably early evening tonight. It'll settle back down. You'll probably see that wind. You may have some runs and some spotting issues, but it should settle down once it hits the flats. So we're still going to see that spotting issue today throughout the afternoon with that west-southwest to west component up on top. The big thing to remember on the main part of this fire is as we've been here for a very long time, that overstory keeps falling down with the wind, and as it just starts naturally releasing off the trees, so you're starting to get a new ground fuel layer. So you're going to keep seeing that area smolder and burn. You may start seeing some activity pick up. It all should be very light, backing fire, very low intensity throughout this area. The big focus down here in that Janesville branch, where it's coming across, there's 3 canyons that want to line up with the wind today. So that'll want to bring it down towards that, the junction down here in the Hurlong Junction, just south of Milford. There's a ridge up here that may split that head. If it gets far enough north, it'll want to push it more towards Milford and then back down towards Hurlong Junction. Right now, it's staying south of that. It's lining up with those 3 drainages. So there's the motocross park down here, down towards Hurlong Junction, and that's where it's going to want to push down off the hill. Remember, we're going to get those high winds that want to surface down that slope in the late afternoon into early evening. Just to keep an eye on it, there is fire back here. It will get influenced by that west-southwest wind. Don't know how much it's going to get influenced yet by the main fire. It may want to draw it a little bit. So if you're working anywhere on the south end of this, make sure you're keeping eyes on the main fire, and if there's any updates, we'll try and get them out to you guys on the field. Have a safe shift.
Operational work assignments, operations.
Good morning. My name is Mike Wink, operations. So we're going to start here in branch 9. A lot of work going on in there, calls for service, a lot of the evacuation orders and warnings have been lifted, a lot more folks in there with a lot more eyes going, looking for things that are smoking and burning. We're getting close calls for service, nothing outside the line, nothing threatening the line, but we are finding those things. Highway 36, the hazard tree removal is in full swing along the Caltrans easements, and there's a lot of trees going down. They're going to get in there with some water tenders today and try and get that stuff mitigated. There's still a little bit of hot stuff along the 36 corridor, and that way we don't have to use the branch 9 resources along that 36 corridor. They're going to mitigate that stuff themselves. As we get up here into branch 13, a lot of work, good work's going on here in Raker Peak to try to cut some of this off direct to get some containment going on in here. And then up here off of West Prospect, just above the repeater site, the lava flow coming around into Rail Canyon, still holding that direct, trying to come in and pick up a trail system to try to cut some more of this off, working, getting really close to start to get some containment here in branch 13. So a lot of good effort continues in there, as well as going back and just doing some improvements of our secondary contingency egress and ingress routes and values at risk critical infrastructure up here in the old station area. So those efforts are ongoing just to improve what's there. As we come now back around into the Lassen sector, branch 16, this is day 4 or 5 now of lots of fire activity in here. The Hall Road, everybody's efforts over the last 3 days, we've been holding on the Hall Road. There's been multiple spots across there towards 44. You guys have been working hard to get that picked up. From Silver Lake, continued the mop up in and around all those cabins. No cabins damaged or destroyed in there. Great job. Going direct, getting it back to the Hall Road on that mid slope took a lot of effort, but it helped take this A21 road out of being threatened. So great effort in there. If we still have the primary, secondary contingency on the other side of the road. We've got the railway and the power line easement, so we've got multiple plans on there. We will continue with contingency line operations on the other side of 44 until we quit getting spots for a couple days. So continue those operations. The branch and sectors know what the management action points are in case it's going to threaten Highway 44. If you see something, go up the chain of command and they'll evaluate if we need to close 44. So follow that process. As we come back down around into Westwood, we continue to shrink the groups. We're down just to one Westwood group in here, handling this 36 corridor, calls for service, the stuff in the peat moss here in the meadow, and all the things that you can still see along there. So continued great effort. Good things are happening in there. Some more public is getting in there to use those roadways. We're working together with them. So they've been out for a long time. We continue appreciate everybody's efforts. As we come down here into the Janesville branch, that organizational structure is expanded all the way down basically to Doyle. Okay, so the geographical area that all those groups are taking on now is anticipating this fire from the east zone coming up here and coming over the escarpment. You just heard fire behavior talk about the possibility of that coming over today. So 2 days ago, this finger coming off Grizzly Peak ran about 4 miles. Yesterday it ran 3 to 4 miles. There's nothing in the normal wind conditions that says that this won't come off the escarpment today. So we're planned for that last night. Again, go to the divisions and branches about there is a management action point to close 395 when fire behavior comes off the ridge. We should expect that today. Normal wind and weather today, 2-3 o'clock is when it wants to increase in speed because of the thermal hitting here in Honey Lake. That's what's going to draw it over the ridge. Historically, that's about the same time of day that the Beckworth complex came into Doyle. The Honey Lake fire in 1989 came off and caused firefighter burn injuries on that 395 corridor. Same time of day. Janesville, when it came, this 30,000 acre spot came off the ridge and came into Janesville. Same time. So look it up online. Look up the Honey Lake fire or the Eagle fire in 1989. Look at Doyle and the Beckworth fire. Look at that fire behavior. We've talked about it multiple times. No surprises. Nobody should expect anything different from what could happen if it comes off that escarpment today. Extreme erratic fire behavior. I'm going to leave you with 2 things today. We're anticipating this event coming down into a populated area. That creates a lot of anxiety because we're waiting for it. We have a good plan. We got good leadership in place. They're out there doing stuff. The 2 things is we've heard of LACIS. You heard me say it a couple days ago, okay? There's places. Fire Captain Phil Mateer from LNU Boggs Mountain came up with this one. Lookouts, communications, escape routes, and safety zones. Everybody knows that one. Places, you add pressure because you have the pressure of waiting for that to come. Anybody who's down there or anybody on the whole fire is going to be thinking today, all right, is this the day it's going to come back down into the 395 corridor that we've been thinking about for weeks? Today could be the day. So you've got places. And then the last thing, if you're working down in this area or anywhere on the fire, Army General Al Moore always said, you can always do one more thing to make your position better. If you're working in these places, today's the one more thing day. One more thing day for these houses that you're going to be protecting out there. That is everything to these people. To us guests, we're in here doing a job. It's everything to them. It's everything that they have. So today's the day for one more thing. One more bush trimmed away from their house. One more piece of dozer line improved. One more line you're going to put out. One more driveway you're going to check and look for those values at risk. One more safety zone. Tie your shoe tighter. Make sure you got fresh batteries. One more thing today. All right? I'll see you out there.
Sector, branch, and division roll call resources.
Good morning, Jordan Weber Resources. If you'll join me on the 203, which is page 2 of your IEP, we'll have some updates and corrections. And when you hear your name, please stand. Starting with the Shasta sector, Fields. Here. Division Juliet, Ortegal. Here. Division Lima, Bloxham. Here. Branch 13, Klemic. Here. Trainee, English. Here. Division November and Oscar, briefing in the field. Division Papa, Palmer. Here. And then this is our first change. Shasta Contingency, Stornetta. Here. For the Lassen sector, Prather. Here. Branch 16, Petro. Here. Division Quebec, we have an addition. Cox. Here. Maderos, trainee. Here. Division Romeo, this is a change. Milovich. Here. Carey, trainee. Here. Division Sierra, this is a change. Costa. Lassen Contingency, Pangburn. The Westwood Sector, Rayleigh. Westwood Group, Lawler. Janesville Branch, Benenhoven. Milford, Galvez. Hicks, Sanchez. Or Antelope Group, this is a change, Darnell. Junction Group, Carter. O'Neill, trainee. Lassen Fire Suppression Repair, Hauser. Thank you and have a safe shift.
Air operations.
Good morning. Matt Hill, Air Operations, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. For fixed wing today, you'll have Air Attack, ASM, 2 S2s, and 1 LAT. For rotor wing, we have 14 Type 1 water droppers. We have 4 Type 2s and 6 Type 3s. We have 1 UAS module to assist at night. We have 1 mobile retardant base, and we have 2 helibases. Air-to-ground command is for divisions and above. We want you to monitor that. And air-to-ground TAC is for everyone else. If you're in the east zone, the Milford Group South on 395 have air-to-ground command east and air-to-ground TAC east. And that's in your 205. Make it a safe shift.
Communications.
Good morning, John Aguilar, Communications. For today, September 2nd, 2021, there is no new radio clone today. If you have been cloned recently, you do not need to get re-cloned today. The last clone was August 25th. If you're new to the incident, please come by Communications this morning and get cloned. For the 205s will be in the west zone on page 41 and 42. The east zone will be page 43. If you look at the 205 on page 41, you'll notice that there's 2 command nets that are unassigned, C47 and C57. Those are still in your 205, they're still in your radio clone. Those will be repurposed later on in the next couple days, but they're still in there, they're not being used. For Butte Fire Suppression Repair, use Butte command in that area. If you have any questions or concerns, come see us in Communications. We're back next to the mill building. Thank you.
Medical.
Good morning, Race Wickless, Medical Unit Leader. Today your 206 can be found on page 45 in your IEP. For just a reminder for in-cap medical needs and supplies, CalMat's located to your left and MERT is located behind the mill. We'll have Fireline medics in branch 13 and 16 today. REMS module will be staged up in branch 13 as well. And your ambulance staging locations can be found in box 6. If you go down to box 8 of your 206, you'll have the line emergency procedures, and make sure to pick up a quick reference guide located back where you got your IEPs this morning. Thank you. Have a safe shift.
Safety.
Good morning, Clint Hamilton, Team 1 Safety. We can't do this without everybody, right? Whether you're in camp, whether you're out on the line. So help us maintain what we have as far as resources. Continue with good hygiene, good COVID-19 safe practices. Page 46 in the IEP, you can reference it. Also, on shift and off shift, maintain good hydration and good night nutrition. It's important that we keep maintaining what we have. So keep up what you're doing, and we appreciate it. Thanks.
Information.
Good morning, Emily Smith, Public Information, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. If you'd like to join me on page 54, I have some updated numbers for you. The Dixie incident is currently at 859,457 acres at 55% containment, and there are 4,039 personnel assigned. On this page, you'll find the social media policy for CAL FIRE as well as the federal social media policy. Please continue to adhere to both of those. If you'd like to post something to your page or share any video or pictures, please come by the PIO shop first so we can vet those. Also, for lost and found and mail, those items are located at the trailer that's off Riverside Drive where you go and get fuel. So if you're looking for something, it will be at that trailer. Thank you and have a great day.
Logistics.
Good morning, Jacob Guerra, Logistics. My only message for today is parking. Park in the designated areas here at camp. Do not park in the business of the mill. Do not walk through its property. And do not drive through its property. Please drive in the designated areas that we've lined out for you to drive through and park. Also at the Mallory camp, We've also designated areas for you to park and sleep. Do not park or sleep out in the open areas. We don't want somebody getting ran over if you're sleeping in a tent or park somewhere you're not supposed to park. We've got a lot of traffic that comes in on the night, and we don't want any accidents to happen. Thank you.
Final comments, Unified IC.
All right, good morning, Nick Truax. I'm the incident commander for CAL FIRE MT1, one of the unified incident commanders here. So day 52, it's been a long grind, it's been a long summer, and we're not done yet. And my number one priority given to me by my bosses, the agency administrators, is all of your safety. So day 52, fatigue starts setting in. We just recently got done having to move the entire base camp over here. That was stressful for all of us. Parking's different, travel routes are different. Our fuses are short. So I just ask you, I thank you for making this as smooth as possible. It wasn't an easy thing to do. But one thing I want to touch on is the driving and things. So one of the most dangerous things we do in the fire service is driving. We had an incident yesterday with a water tender rollover. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured with that. But please just pay attention with your driving, especially through town. Kids are back in school. There's a lot of pedestrians walking around. So just drive a little slower. If you're 2 minutes late getting out to the line, I would rather that than to create issues. Also, we could do the best job. We kept the fire out of Susanville, right? We saved a lot of structures all over the place. One bad traffic accident kills that whole safety record. So far, there's, for this whole fire, 8 reportable injuries to fire line personnel, 0 to the public. And I want to keep it that way. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you out there.
Next operational briefing, 0700 tomorrow morning. Breakouts are outside the perimeter of the briefing area. Unassigned resources back at where IEPs were distributed. Thank you. Have a safe shift.